Today to continue to encourage road safety and also road courtesy. But before we start, I want to give some stats to the public, and then I would let Constable Nisbet start with his presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Road fatalities for the year of 2024 until today's date. In the previous year, we only had one road fatality. For 2025, so far we have 5. Tinted windscreen. In 2024, we issued 107 tickets for the tinted windscreen from January until April. For this year, 2025, from January to presently, we have issued 146 tickets for tinted windscreen. And for dark tinted windows, that's the side windows now, in 2024, from January until April, we issued 259 tickets. For 2025, we have issued 181. For the speeding tickets now, in 2024, from January until April, we issued 263 speeding tickets. That's 2024. And for 2025, so far, we have issued 621 speeding tickets. And I give these stats because we come here every Wednesday. We go to the other radio program every Monday. We try to educate the public. We try to encourage them to slow down, abide by the laws. We try to explain to them the laws into depth. And we're just seeing the stats increase. So I'm just putting it out to the public that we're here. We're trying our best to educate the public. And the stats are increasing, so we're trying to figure out what are we doing wrong. But before we go into depth with that, I would let Constable Nisbet.
Okay, good morning. I'm here to speak about the speeding, the reckless driving, and the dangerous driving. Right? In our laws, the law says if any person drive a motor vehicle on a road recklessly or at a speed which is dangerous to the public or in any manner that is dangerous to the public, have regarding to all circumstances of the case, including the nature of the road, the conditions of the road, and the amount of traffic that is on the road at that time, which may responsibly be expected on the road, meaning the amount of vehicle that expected to be on the road, right? In a summary conviction, where there is a bodily injury, meaning somebody get cut or bleeding, right, to any person, to a fine not exceeding $6,000 or a term imprisonment to with or without hard labor for a term of 1 year. So if you cause bodily injury to anyone, the fine is $6,000 or a term of 1 year imprisonment. That doesn't have anything to do with you being sued after the incident.
So in other words, you're saying
this is just what the
government is
gonna charge when you cause these injuries to people by driving.
Okay.
Right? Okay. On your second conviction, if you did it the second time, the first time is $6,000.
Can you speak into the mic, please?
Right? The first time is $6,000. But on the second conviction, right, it is a fine not exceeding $20,000 or imprisonment with or without hard labor not exceeding 4 years.
Now, before you guys continue, you know, it's an interactive program.
Yeah, no problem.
So we're already getting some responses from the information you're sharing.
Yes.
To you, Mr. Bell, the question is, how much of those tickets were paid? Do you have that information?
I don't have that right now, but we can get it. Which one of the tickets, actually, though? We could get that information.
Oh, okay. Let me clarify that. So I know the person listening. You want to know if the ticket is for tinting
Tinted windscreen, tinted windows, speeding.
or speeding. All right.
Yeah.
All right. They sent a voice note, but I don't think it's related to that. But I'll wait for their response. But you are going to continue, Lisbeth? Oh, okay. Sergeant Henry, or was it you, Bell?
Yeah. Just to summarize what Nisbet just said, the laws were amended since the previous rise in accidents and fatalities. Before it was $4,000 on the first conviction, and I think it was $6 for the second.
Right.
And so now it's $6 for the first, and up to 20,000 if you're convicted a
Right.
second time.
So the penalties has increased.
Has increased.
Okay.
And the imprisonment time. Okay. I spoke about tint. However, the traffic department, the licensing authority, made some amendments to their tint act to accommodate persons who have buses or vans that advertise their jobs. We sent out a notice on persons, I don't know if they misread it or they just listened to hear what they wanted to hear. So I'm going to read out the notice that we sent, and then I will clarify it for persons. Okay? The licensing authority has approved new guidelines for tint on commercial vans. Commercial vans that are exclusively used for cargo purposes and do not have any rear passenger seating, permitted to cover the rear side windows with tint below 35% light transmission or advertising material. Now, GQ, I'm going to give an example. Island Bakery. They probably might be advertising whatever pastries they sell, whatever types of bread they sell, and whatever. In the back of the bus, you know, there's no seats at all. They just have space for pastries and the bread and whatnot. They can tint those side windows below 35%, or they could use film or anything to advertise their business. Okay. However, the rear windscreen must stay in accordance with the previous tint regulation, which is 35% and above. None of the graphic film or anything should cover that rear window.
Okay.
The front windscreen, the same thing applies. Okay. The front doors, which is the driver door and the passenger door, or the whoever helps assist the driver in doing their business, those windows must conform with the traffic laws also. 35% and above. The film and the amendment is just for the rear windows, the side windows, not the front and rear windscreen, and not the front windows where the drivers are. Persons are using that opportunity and saying, hey, we have equipments and we're trying to secure our equipment and stuff like that. If somebody gonna break your vehicle, they're gonna break your vehicle, whether or not you have it tinted.
I hear you.
However, if you want that permission, you write to the Ministry of National Security, who will liaise with the Commissioner of Police, who is also the licensing authority.
Okay.
You write the purpose, what you need. You need that permission for,
Mm-hmm.
the vehicle that you're driving, what business you do, and stuff like that. Okay, so you don't just get up and say, "Hey, I don't do a business. I have my equipment. Me want nobody thief me stuff," and that's why I tint me window. Because then, if we give leeway with that, everybody gonna come with that excuse, and we gonna be biased if we're gonna accept it from one person and not the other. So let's go to the right channel.
Right. Talk about channel. The lines are open 465-1977, 465-1903, and our mobile number is 662-8674. The person responded to you, and we'll take this call. They asked for the categories of all the tickets. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning to you, sir, and to the officers in the studio. Good morning to you all.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Good. Officers, there are quite a few things I called to speak about, but I am going to erase them from my mind. You know why? I am very pleased to hear everyone in your opening statement. It sounds good. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Let me relate to that further. The DPP make it known of road users, pedestrians and motorists. And these are things that I am very much pleased. It encourages me now to use the road more wisely and safer. However, let me make it clear. Our roads are supposed to be 2 lanes. But in some cases, it doesn't appear so, especially to those who are visitors, because they don't see a line separating the width of the road. One of the things I would ask that the traffic department do is to put a lane separate than the other by means putting a line in the center of the width of the road. The other thing that I have to speak about, I'm going to forget about them today until next week, but I am very impressed of what I'm hearing. It only encourages me, I said earlier, to use the road more wiser and carefully. Gentlemen, Sergeant Henry, thanks for listening. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you, Colin. Same to you.
Okay. Thanks for calling, Carla. To answer the question about the paid tickets, right, in 2024, we had 183 tickets paid for speeding. In 2025, we had 413 tickets paid for speeding. Right. In 2024, for tinted windows, we had 133 tickets in 2024 paid. In 2025, we have 120 tickets paid. For windscreen, tinted windscreens, in 2024, we have 72 tickets paid, and in 2025, we have 58 tickets paid. That's up to present.
So, Jackie, those stats that he just read were just from January until April, the dates that I gave. Okay, so for the speeding ticket, remember we said 2024 we issued 263 speeding tickets from January to April. Out of those 263 tickets, 183 were paid. And 2025, out of the 621 tickets that we issued, 413 were paid. And for the tinted windows, we said for 2024 we issued 259 tinted windows tickets, and 133 were paid. And for 2025, which was 181 tickets issued for the same tinted windows, 120 were paid. And for the tinted windscreen, 2024, 107 was issued, and 72 were paid. 2025, out of the 148 tickets that were issued, 58 were paid. Okay, So for the listener who wanted the stats, those are the stats.
All right. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning, you're live.
Hey, good morning. Sergeant Henry,
Yes, Bucky.
you're training. I want training for you know. Officer Bell,
Yes, sir.
you put a little bass in your voice, you know, and then not use the bass, you know. You put a little bass in your voice, you know. You do team. Remember, if I'm a Sempars, you know, put a little bass in the voice, you know. Yeah,
Yes,
but
sir.
when persons damage like cross followed by those railings, and you know, like the area where Map My Soul Rest in Peace would have gone over, who will be responsible for replacing or fixing those railings? And also, suddenly, I want a speed bump to start the Wingfield Road. It's a racetrack. It's a racetrack. You know, and I think that if we can place more speed bumps in area, it would allow drivers to slow down because you definitely will be forcing them in slowing down. Also, did you have a look at Sandy Point, just by the high school? Remember, we spoke sometime about having it a one-way. It's still creating problem. I know you say you wasn't aware of it. Officer Bell is there, so Officer Bell know about it. Bell, I'm speaking about what here at Mount Idle. Before you meet Benjack, the road to go up. You know,
Yes.
sometimes it's a problem. Horses going up and coming down, and who ain't want to reverse, and who think they have the right of way. You know,
That's-
it's a very difficult situation.
That's the
And you're
road to go
coming
by
onto the
Axel.
traffic. So maybe you could shed some light with Sergeant Henry to explain to our waiters, and you could look at it to definitely see. Right. Also, do you all work closely with public works, because we're speaking about road safety? For example, right now there's a problem there by the stoplight by Sands, just out of Alfredo, and the road is very, very bumpy. It's a really uncomfortable drive. You know, so I'm wondering, like, if you would liaise with public works and tell them, hey, these are areas that needs to be fixed. Because remember, I'm paying my tax for road safety, right? So that's about it for now. Good program. I love the fact that you all came with statistics to show posters the amount of money we are giving the government that we can avoid. You know, so I must give you a kudos for that, for enlightening that information.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank you.
continue listening after you.
Yes.
All right, you want to respond or you want to take the next call?
We could take the next one.
Yes, good morning, you're live. Yes, go ahead, you're live. All right, so we not getting any response there. So I'll let you respond to Bucky.
Yes. With the railings, the person responsible for fixing that railing is
Just wait on the floor.
the person responsible for fixing that railing is the person who caused the damage. Once we have the information for the person, the individual who caused the accident or the damage, they are responsible for fixing those damage on railings. Anything that they hit, they are responsible for compensating.
Okay. Let's back to the phone line. Good morning, you're live.
Hey, good morning. I want to hear the statistic on helmets, with or without helmets.
Okay, just to elaborate on what Constable Bell said, right? When you get into an accident and you damage anything to do with government property, the matter must go to court. Must. You cannot come and ask us to pay for it separate. It must go to court. We take you to court with the estimate of what you damage. So recently we had one where somebody running into the crossing sign at Bird Rock. So we get the estimate from Public Works to replace that. We take it, we add it to the file, we take the matter to the court. The magistrate made her judgment, and then you have to pay that fee. The government ensure that you pay that fee to fix back what was damaged.
All right, thanks for the clarity. Let's back to the phone line. Good morning. Hello? All right, we're not getting any response there. And if you like, you can try 465-1977. The other number is 465-1903. And the option that that person just tried is 662-8674. Maybe it might work for you. Someone just called and asked about the statistics for the helmet. You're going to touch that, Mr. Bell?
We're getting that
We,
shortly.
in 2 minutes.
All right, okay, great, okay. Sergeant Henry is
While we're waiting on that, when it comes to accidents, right? Accidents is no.
Can you stick up in there? We have a call.
Okay.
Yes.
Remember your thought, please.
Yes.
Okay. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning, officers. Good morning, GQ.
Good morning.
Very interesting program. But I'm lost with something here. You give some interesting statistics about tickets issued, those paid and unpaid. What of those persons and don't pay as it is by the...
Mr. Howell,
I'll listen off here.
Mr. Howell, before you go, Mr. Howell, we are hearing you.
Okay, I think the question was what happened to the persons that don't pay the ticket, right? To answer that question, we take the matters to court. When we issue your ticket, right, we have a certain time to check, make sure that the tickets are paid. If not, we provide a file and we take you to the court. Right? That is the process that we do.
Okay.
We have to be reminded that everyone has the right to defend their ticket. It's the same as if a person is being charged. That doesn't mean they are guilty. They just have to prove their innocence, and the police have to prove their guilt. So it's not everybody that gets a ticket would go and pay it.
Okay. Good morning. You're live.
Listen,
Greetings.
okay, because we helmet wearing. Helmet wearing, should be a choice of someone, not a compulsion. Yeah. The reason why it is a compulsion is to avoid that person from injuring or killing themselves. That's a personal choice of somebody. But one can go into a rum shop and fill yourself with rum, smoking the cigarette. There's nothing there to deter nothing. So why you are forcing someone to wear a helmet in order to protect themselves? That should be a choice of the person. And then again, look on it. Put an helmet up and hoodie up and commit a whole heap of crime. Bandit. There's no identity there. Them just mask up. Because helmet is a must. That should be taken off the book. Leave it to one to make that decision for themselves. Have a blessed day.
You too, man. Any response to that call? And if not, you can always continue with your thought.
Yeah, to answer that caller, I don't agree with what the caller said, that you should leave it up to them, right, to make that decision. The helmet is there for safety, right?
But before you continue, though, what does the law say?
The law says, riding bike, you must have on a helmet. Any motorbike, motor vehicle, right, that is outside motorbike, you must have on a helmet.
And that means, no matter my opinion, I have to abide by the law.
No matter your opinion, the law says wear a helmet, wear a helmet.
Okay.
The helmet is to protect you, right? That's one. And it also helps the situation of the fatal accidents that we have. Because some of the times, depends on how you was hit, right? The helmet do save your life, right? So you need to wear your helmet. Whether you feel like you want to or not, you must wear a helmet because the law says wear a helmet.
And to add to that, JQ, more than 50% of the motorcycle accidents, persons, and there were fatalities, the persons were not wearing helmets. And the major injury, which would have caused the death to those persons, would have been to the head.
We have the stats for the helmet.
Yes. So in 2024, and we are doing from January until April.
April of now, right?
Yes. No, for 2024 and 2025.
Okay.
Well, we are just doing from January until April.
Okay.
In 2024, we issued 41 tickets. Out of the 41 tickets, 23 were paid. And for this year, we have issued 11. And out of the 11, 8 were paid. So we are seeing more than 50% being paid. And that shows that persons know that they were wrong and know that they should be wearing their helmets.
Okay. Sergeant, oh, sorry, go ahead. Pardon.
Yes, just to regulation. Regulation 18A. A person who operates a motorcycle on a road shall at all times, where operating the motorcycle, wear the appropriate gear prescribed by the licensing authority, and when accompanied by a pillion, he or she shall ensure that the pillion is wearing the appropriate gear prescribed by the licensing authority.
And that's, you're making reference to the passenger?
Yes.
Okay.
And the appropriate gear prescribed by the licensing authority is a helmet.
Gentlemen, lady, we have to cut the conversation real quick, but before we do, one last question for you. Someone is asking to repeat the legal percentage for tint to be used on private vehicles, and also what happened to persons who don't pay their tickets in a timely manner. The checks and balances between enforced to catch those persons who have outstanding and unpaid tickets.
Okay, for the tint, private vehicles, 35% and up, all around. The front windscreen, the tint must come down the most 10 inches from the top. It's not supposed to come the whole entire windscreen is not supposed to be tinted, even if you have on 35%. Okay? And for persons who doesn't pay their ticket on time, if they go and they pay, after the timing that they got, there's a late fee of $50. Fortunately for them, it doesn't matter how late it is. It's just $50. It's not $50 every day after or anything. It's just $50.
Okay.
If they refuse to do that, then we would be of the view that they're challenging their ticket.
Right.
The officers, it's the obligation of the officers to produce a file and send it towards the court, and for them to justify their actions when they issue that ticket.
Gentlemen, I hate to be abrupt, but we'll have to end the conversation like this. I'll hear from you guys last words next time, but thanks for being here this morning. And we appreciate all the callers who called in this morning and shared your questions and your concern. It's time now for our 9 o'clock report for today.
Are you looking for a place that provides skilled nursing care and rehabilitation services to people with special needs, illnesses, injuries, or functional disabilities? Are you searching for dignified facilities to serve the elderly? Then search no more. The Grange Healthcare Facility is simply the best place to satisfy your needs. It is the first of its kind in St. Kitts, situated just 7 miles out of Bastia, with beautifully landscaped grounds, serene and tranquil